Hi and welcome back. I'm Mark Richard Adams, post-production professional, and today I'm just about to start 3 short advanced grading videos. So I'm going to focus on one thing in each video. So the first thing I'm going to focus on are skin tones and how we can maximize the most of those skin tones. Second one, I'm going to focus on images that are too dark and how we can possibly save them and adapt them. And the final thing we're going to do is try and readdress white balance alongside setting that white balance in a scene or in a grade. Okay, so I'm just going to jump to this first image here. So this is a 1080p 25 timeline. The native code here is ProRes 422 LT. Firstly, it's an S-Log image. Okay, so at the moment I just want to look at these 2 things. I want to look at the waveform and I want to look at the vector scope. And let's go and start to fix and amend this image. Now, at the moment, before we start grading, we need to focus on a shot where the contributor is looking at the screen. So, okay, looking forwards, great, anything else going on? Looking nice. I'm going to jump over to curves, and in curves, everything's highlighted. Okay, they're linked. So I'm actually manipulating the luminance and also the 3 color channels, RGB. Now I'm just moving that up, and as you just tweak it up, you can see that we can lose lots of definition by everything going beyond this 1023 line, so the peak white. We don't want that. We want to raise it up just so some of the whites are sort of tickling the top there, sort of about here. This area is probably the top, this burnout on the top of his head. We'll need to amend that a little down the line. I might just go a little higher on that at the moment. Now let's have a look at the darks, the blacks. Now, is anything in this shot black? True black, do we think? Things rarely are, I would say. Probably down the side of his collar there, the side of his mouth. So we can choose to bring these blacks down. I think just a little bit more, give him a little bit more definition. Okay, so that's our first pass. Okay, not too bad. We could, of course, place a change label on there, and I could go curves on that one. Don't have to do that, but sometimes it's quite handy if you've got the time. Next, Alt and S for another node. Let's have a look at this. Chrominance. Saturation. Let's pull the saturation up. Keep going, keep going. Be quite strong with this actually. Keep going. Yeah, not too bad. We on Spectroscope in this particular color space here, we're looking pretty good. Generally, if you go beyond these invisible lines in between these boxes here, cyan to blue, blue to magenta, magenta to red, red to yellow, yellow back to green. If you imagine there's a line between them, and you go beyond that line, that's when you start to see illegal color gamma issues. Okay, we're looking pretty good, not too bad, but the backgrounds come up relatively well. He's looking a bit salmony, so I'm not overly happy with that. Okay, and let's also have a look at this contrast. And let me just flip back to waveform contrast. See, we are putting the lights and darks apart here to create some sort of more depth. I'm happy with that. Let's just play. Okay, not too bad. Okay, let's try and fix his face. At the moment, he's looking a bit sammy. I don't like that. I'm just going to jump over to the vector scope. We can see the skin tone line here. Generally, the rule of thumb is if you're sitting just to the right or on that line, generally any skin tone will be okay. From the darkest of skin to the lightest of skin, generally is a rule of thumb. Really good indication the skin tone is there. So before I do that, I think probably what I might do is just label this node, and I'll call this sat contrast. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Option S and add another node. So you can see I've got my 2 things. The reason I do this is so I can break them down, so I can go back to this individual node and delete it if I want to. I don't have everything in one node because it gets confusing. Okay, third node. Let's jump to Power Window and let's isolate his face. Let's try and get as close as we can. What I will do is I'll go back to the beginning of the shot because I want to track as well. I would imagine you're familiar with tracking in Resolve by now, but I will show you it's incredibly powerful. That's looking pretty good to me. But what we'll do, I just want to apply some softness to that just for a moment. Let's jump over to track. Now we have 4 parameters, or 5 parameters here: pan, tilt, zoom, rotate, perspective. I said this in previous videos. Deselect the perspective 3D, you don't need it on this one. You can try bits and bobs turning on enough to see whether the track suits your particular shot, but generally perspective 3D would be for you know, a rig. You've got an extra plane of movement. So let's hit play. See, that's not a bad track. Good way now. Now we've isolated his face, we can jump to the qualifier and let's pick his face. And if you keep click and drag, you can now qualify all of these pixels and just do it, just till you're happy with it. You know, we're losing a bit of top of his head there. I don't mind that because it's white. Too bad. I'm sort of happy with that actually. Not too bad. But I am going to go to the blur radius and blur that through. You can see that go backwards and forwards. That's blurring nicely the mat, the key that's been pulled. Okay, now I'm going to jump over into Primus Color Wheels and I'm going to have a look at this. And I just want to see if I can re-arc this. You can see that actually, you know, I'm sort of wiggling it all around. You can see it moving. I just want to get it slightly more positioned towards that right side. Now, it's looking a bit yellowy there, but if we turn the background on and see what's going on, it is actually looking slightly more summery. I'm now going to jump over to the gain, and I'm going to see if I can now apply a little bit more, take away some of that greenness that's come back in. Okay, that's not bad. Let's deselect this, and I can do that by going Command D. See, there's off, on, off, on. That's looking pretty good. I still want to pull away from the greens slightly. I'm just going to jump over into log and do a very gentle highlight shift. I'm going to pull the greens away. This is very, very delicate here. And possibly in the mid-tones as well, I'm going to pull away from those greens. Okay, you can see just very, very delicate fixes in the log area here, rather than more of like a blanket fix that the Primus wheels would give you. Okay, so let's just Command D off on. Okay, I'm sort of happy with that. What I also want to do is I just want to jump to the blur, and inside that cage I want to apply, not a blur, see his face gone blurry there, I actually want to apply a little bit of sharpness to his face, or just to make it look like he's been slightly refocused. Of course he hasn't. There we go. That's looking nice. So let's just add another node now. If I click on this new node and I go to Option L, we now have the layer mixer. The layer mixer is quite handy because this is going to allow us to route the face, the key of the face, around the grade. So this number 4 is going to be the grade. So if I go to change label and I call it, I'm just going to call it grade. So now we have the grades on this node here. But what we want to do, we want to sort of route this alpha channel, this mat, around the grade. Okay, and the way that we do that is we grab this triangle here and we drag it down. This is dragging the mat through to this area here. When you do that, you'll see that the alpha will come through, and it will become more apparent when we then go to the grade window. If we jump over to the grade window and just very quickly change some parameters, you will see that we have the ability to change one of the elements. Now, the element that's gone wrong here is that we actually need to invert this alpha channel. So we're just going to jump over here and we go to the key channel and we switch it. Now we go to the grade and see that we can actually alter the background only, which is what we want, which is good. Great. So let's just delete that so it goes back to normal. Now if we jump over to the grade, we can now start messing with the background. I'm just going to jump into the curves and I'm going to start to apply some colour correction to this. So grade. Okay. That's quite nice. Let's see if we just remove. And let's apply some more contrast. Good. Now we have our elements. We have our skin tone, we have our grade, we have our keyed face coming round the grade as well. Problem with this is I think skin tone is too much, so what's really handy is if you jump over into the key page, we can start, certainly on this node, this node here. If you click this node here, we can start to change the level or the strength of the key. There's the key, the space, and if we take the gain, we can pull it down. So we can actually remove it completely, and we can just gently introduce it until we're happy with that level of that key and colour correction of his face, which I think is about there for me. So I quite like that. Let's turn the whole thing on and off. So if we go to Option D, that's looking rich. It's looking nice. Two of the little things I want to do actually before we finish on this, we just go to the layer mixer and then we go to Alt S for another node. We can actually just have a look at this burnout here on the top of his head. Now, if you remember, I pushed at the beginning, I pushed the luminance up on the top of his head. You can see it here. Now, we can amend that really simply. If we now have our new node and we jump over into log, now log is fine adjustments, of course. We can actually get this highlight. We can gently pull it down. And can you see what's happening is that I'm altering just the top end part of the image very delicately. So I can push it up, we lose a lot of definition, but if I drop it down, we can just tweak it just under that 1023 line. And this becomes a bit smoother. So that's worked quite nicely. Good, and I think finally, what I would like to apply is another node, and I just want to draw some attention to him. Background, so we can go with one a bit more depth. I'm just going to do that very simply through a power window. This is something I use all the time. Most graders use all the time. They're very, very useful. You know, people traditionally would call them, would call them vignettes, but actually, I like to use them as sort of directional elements, really, so you can guide your attention to the right part of the image. So I've created that cage. So we're going to jump over into color wheels and go to primaries wheels, move it from log. Knock the gain down, and I'm just going to knock the gamma down as well. Quite severe actually. And then I'm going to invert it. I want the darkness to be on the outside. There's the invert key. And now we can start to smooth that out. You can still see, I mean, it's nice, but it's too much, it's too dark. Now what we can do now, very simply, is we've got the attention on him, but this is too much. We jump over to this, make sure we're on this node. Jump over to the key, as I showed you before, and take the key output down. Roll it all the way down to nothing. Start it from nothing, and then just gently introduce it and see where you're happy. And I'm sort of happy around about that. We hit that shot, play it through. That's looking pretty good. That's all. If we go to Option D, off. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have fun with this demo. Thank you.